Welcome to Celtic State of Mind. I'm John Dykes, and today I'm joined by Lawrence Connolly. We're looking at the 3-2 victory over Livingston. Lawrence, what do you make of it as a whole? I mean, we were looking pretty comfortable for a spell there. All of a sudden, a goal comes out of nowhere, and then we're under the cosh.
Top of the league.
Top of the league, indeed.
Yeah, second half, you should say, it came out of nowhere. Was that the first shot that game? And after
Cracking
that,
strike.
Yeah. Thought Brownie was a bit slack. He sold his sell on it, to give them the room. But I'm happy with 3 points, happy top of the league. Taylor got a lot of the ball.
He got a hell of a lot of the ball, didn't he?
Ajeti, what performance for it. For him, once he's right up to speed, you could see he's tired. Once he's up to speed, you're like, the way he's dropping in and linking the play, he's a strong boy. He's got good feet.
Upper body strength, Lawrence. I think the first couple of times we've seen him, he looked as though he was maybe carrying a few pounds, but he's quite a sturdy unit. We'll run through some of the individual performances, and obviously we invite as many comments as possible via YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. So get involved. What were you happy about? Who was your performances when you're looking at man of the match? Who do you think that had the best performances within the Celtic side? And do you have any concerns about the fact that we've kind of struggled in terms of the scoreline against St Mirren and Livingston? What I mean by that, Lawrence, is, the last minute there, 15 seconds to go, and there's a free header 6 yards out the boy, it hits the back of his head. But if he connects to that, it's a 3-3 draw, and, that's my concern. We should have been miles away from Livingston when we were 3-1 up. We're talking about making a triple substitution. Then Lenny thinks better of it because of that cracking goal. We'll run through the performances. Let's start off with the player you mentioned, Taylor. He gets a lot of stick. Did anyone have more of the ball than Greg Taylor in that entire game?
He gets a lot of touches for a Celtic player, doesn't he? I don't know what his ball retention is, but he seems to find the hoop jersey a lot. Mm-hmm. Doesn't always beat a man, but you don't always need to. He's got another assist. I think it's a solid performance from him. He hasn't let us down.
No, I don't think he has let us down. I mean, we keep going on to the fact that he's adapting to the attacking play of Celtic. We are on the attack. This is the frustration about that scoreline. We're on the attack constantly, and then they pull that goal out the bag. Cracking goal. Can't take anything away from the boy. What a strike. There's a bit of stick coming in for Barkas, so we'll have a look at that. Could he have done anything about it?
It's come off the underside of the bar, isn't it? And it's way in. It's a cracking goal. I would say more Brown. I think Brown's sold his sell, and it's given the boys space to hit it. What's it, about 20 yards out? Just over?
Yeah.
The boys had a fair amount of pace. It's come off it. If he saved it, you're going to say it's a wonderful save. Maybe another day he does save it, but he didn't today. And I don't think I'd fault the goalkeeper for that getting it. The boys got space to hit it in. It's coming off the underside of the bar. It's a difficult one to save, I think. It's travelling at pace. So Barkas' performance in general, he's claimed a few balls, he's shouting, his distribution's good.
Mm-hmm. Not scared to get the ball at his feet.
Yeah, so I think Barkas has done all right. I wouldn't blame him for the goal.
No.
I'd have blamed Brown for it.
We'll have a look at the reaction that we're getting through the social media, Lawrence, and obviously we'll go through as many as possible. I think first and foremost, Gary Sked is commenting that it was a class finish, and you can't deny that. It was a quality strike. And the problem I've got with that is we were coasting at that point. 3-1 up. Looked as though we would probably get another goal. We're making changes. We're putting minutes into the legs of El Yunusi and Turnbull. And then I think all the plans are changed.
Bruni sold himself, and I don't know if it's part of we were coasting, but Cham would get beat, and then Brown's kind of got to thought, right, Cham's not there now. I'm the the guy sitting in front. It's the edge of the box, and he sold himself. And I thought, geez, Scott, is this because we were coasting? Because Livy had offered nothing. Up until then. In that half, you were sitting looking at going, you couldn't see where a goal was coming from them. If anything, it's going to be Celtic with more goals.
I think so. You mentioned that. We're 81 minutes into the game. Brown loses the ball. It was the second time he's lost the ball. And at that point, I actually said to you just before then, perhaps we should take Scott Brown off.
Aye.
For all the arguments that we've seen, you know, his age, the fact that he's a booking away from a suspension, take him off and bring on any number of options on the bench. Yeah,
definitely. It could have been a sub to get made, but it's 3 points. It's not often Scott slips up and costs us a goal. It's just a shame that a game that was looking as if we were going to score another goal gets a wee bit nervy at the end.
It got a wee bit nervy, but you know, the 3 points are important. We're sitting top of the league. We're certainly not going to be one of these outlets that continually slags off Neil Lennon. I was very critical of him after our Champions League exit. Lawrence, I stand by the comments I made back then. Am I getting concerned about it? I don't think I'm overly concerned, but I do want to see the right blend. I want to see consistency of team selection as well.
I think, Lenny, you can see the team starting to knit together well. Ajeti, you know, between the...
Let's talk about Ajeti's performance.
Between the penalty box lines to back about 40 yards, he's dropping, he's picking the ball up, he's
coming deep,
play, he's holding it, he can beat a man, he's starting to know the runs of his teammates. You can see, right, he's going to work well in that Celtic team with those midfielders and with whoever his partner's going to be up front.
I look at that performance today and I think to myself, Edouard on top of his game, Ajeti playing like that, that's what I want. I want the two strikers. McGregor to Christie, and when it's not about Ryan having a shot, he plays the easier ball. And Ajeti, what a finish! First Superb
time,
finish.
Bang! Didn't even think about it. It's back in the net.
And even more important now that when you look at the scoreline, it does bring back a couple of the points I was going to make in relation to some of the decisions that were getting made. On 78 minutes, Ajeti protects the ball.
Yep,
he's protecting the ball, and he's penalised by the referee. He couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it.
Well, interesting.
It was a poor performance.
The ref didn't penalise him until Ajeti, you know, because Ajeti went down and looked like a foul against him. He still got the ball. He managed to go up, and it looks as if he's going to get a pass away, a Celtic player on the attack, and then it's a free kick against him. You're like, ref, why is it only a free kick when you think he's got the pass away? I don't, you know, maybe we need another camera angle to see what the ref says, because I can't see why or what for. No,
and I mean, it followed a few other absurd decisions. When you go back to 49 minutes, Sibbald tackles Christie above the knee. I mean, it was actually above the knee. It's a red card all day long.
Yeah, I mean the power he put in that, kicking back that power. I'm not too sure what he's trying to do. The ball's not that height, so exactly what he's trying to do, I don't know. But he's hit him fairly high. You know. Luckily, he's got his foot off the ground.
He's almost injured himself.
So he's almost injured himself, but lucky he's got his foot off the ground, so he's not got injured. But you're going, ref, it's got to be a red card.
Yeah.
It's...
And then you've got Klimala near the end. Again, he gets booked. And it just seems, and this is where I get a bit concerned, Lawrence, and it's not about conspiracy theories, etc. And everything's always against us, but at 3-2, right? That type of decision, a long ball, a decision to be made, it'll always go against Celtic, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Klimala goes in, he takes the ball, and then the Liverpool player comes into his legs. So it's not as if Klimala studs are up going in towards the Liverpool player. The Liverpool player's never getting in touch with Klimala's feet. So you're thinking, why have you given a free kick to Liverpool? Klimala's come in and won the ball, and the Liverpool player's in late to him and against his legs.
Yeah.
That would be a free kick the other way, if anything.
What we'll do, I'm not blaming that performance on the referee. And what I'm saying is we've seen 3 victories this season. 1-0 Dundee United, 2-1 St Mirren, and then today where, you know, some of the decisions have been absolutely bizarre.
The free kick in the box.
Yeah.
No wonder Duffy's looking about and going... The guy's got his arms up. He's
all
starting to feel Duffy all over Duffy, and you're kind of going...
And it goes against Duffy. But let's talk about Duffy. Before I start going to the points coming in on the social media, Lawrence, Duffy is a different type of centre-half. When you look at Ayer and Julienne and the way that they play and the ball-playing centre-halves, which we love, that's great. I just think when Duffy comes in here, you look at what he's doing at the corner kicks. Near the end, Turnbull flights the corner in. He's protecting himself with his own 2 players, and then he's attacking that ball like his life, you know. And
he makes things happen.
He almost got 3 and 3 today. Almost scored a goal a couple
I'm
of times.
disappointed he hasn't. So I'm expecting 2 from the next game. Yeah. So yeah, Duffy makes things happen. You know, it's maybe they're not sponsors now, but you know, Nike just do it. He attacks the ball early. He makes it happen. You know, he's a winner. He's going to drive the team on.
He's got this determination about him. You know, he's on a mission. He's on a mission since he's come in at Celtic Park.
It's a dream come true for him, he said, and he's making the best of it, isn't he? You know, he's going to make sure this is... It's not for the want of trying with Duffy, is it? If something doesn't go right, he's giving it everything in every game.
Let's have a look at some of the comments coming in, Lawrence, because they're coming in thick and fast, and I think the post-match, as much as any, is all about how people are feeling, what the comments are that they're making at this stage. Colin Mackay via YouTube, things need changed up quickly. I think over the last couple of games, Lennon has certainly given a lot of minutes to various players. I think within himself, he's bound to know what his starting lineup, his strongest starting lineup is. We're certainly not playing it at the moment.
It comes to, I suppose, squad management. Everybody needs minutes. It's when you want your team to peak. You saw when Turnbull come on, he didn't do anything bad, but him and Forrest at times were looking to occupy the same space.
They were, yeah.
Until they get minutes together in a game and know each other, where one wants to run, where somebody wants the ball. You need to develop your team over the course of the season. I think something needs changed. We're top of the league. Our players are still very much a new team. It's another win.
It's another win, but see, when you look at some of the players who have come in and got some game time, they've performed well. And one of the players in particular is Olivier Encham. Now, his performance today, again, we were watching him pretty closely today, and he was class, you know, throughout the whole game. And I know that the 2 players who were up for man of the match was El Hamid and McGregor. Listen, I thought McGregor played excellently well. I also think Encham was up there as one of the best performers. He's
starting to take responsibility to make things happen. He's looking happier in the team, isn't he? He's looking more assured. And yeah, he's a footballer. He's going to make things happen for us. I was disappointed actually to see him come off, because I thought, yeah, get Brown off and leave Cham on. But yeah, good performance from Cham. I thought Taylor done really well. You know, a lot of the ball. He's got an assist. He's finding Celtic jerseys with the ball. McGregor man of the match, what about Ajeti? You know, there's got to be a shout for Ajeti in there, isn't there?
That's the best performance he's had in a Celtic jersey, without a doubt. What I do say about McGregor a lot is he's so consistent. Often people take it for granted, his level of performance. But he was involved in just about everything today.
Yeah, he's everywhere for us. You know, he's often the fulcrum, isn't he, of any moves that we've got. But I thought Ajeti, when he gets to match fit, you can see he's tired. When we can get 90 minutes out of Ajeti, you know, he's going to get that extra half yard soon.
He is, and the prospect of him with Edward firing on all cylinders, it is frightening, and it brings up, again, Klamala's come on, he's got himself involved, and Griffiths is still nowhere near that squad.
Yeah, I mean, we all want to see Lee back playing football. He doesn't have long left in his career, and you don't want his career ending like this, or dropping down the leagues, or, you know, we want Lee back, but tell you what, he is very much fourth choice.
He is at the moment, and you know, a few weeks ago I would have said if Griffiths comes into the squad, he goes straight into number 3 in terms of the third choice. But Klamala's working well, he's working hard, and you know, there was a few runs there that I think if he got more minutes, you know, he would have got more opportunity. I think he's an honest, hard-working striker. He doesn't fill me with the same kind of excitement as Griffiths does around dead balls or you know, changing a game. But at the moment, he's taking his opportunity, Lawrence, and Griffiths isn't available for selection.
Well, Klamala's 23. I know we got him in January, but he didn't really get any game time. I think he even covered that himself, why he had to go away and work on it, because he said in training he just couldn't compete.
No.
He had to go and bulk up and make sure he's in a position to compete, and he's come back, he is in a position to compete. He's a player I think will get better. He's 23. He's still got his prime ahead of him.
I think he will. I think he will improve. And on the flip side, you've got, as you say, you've got Griffiths. You're looking at him at 30. I know that obviously he's still training. It was good to see Tommy Rodgick on the bench. Will we see Griffiths getting on that bench? Is he the next one to be reintroduced into the squad?
I think we'll have Griff back. I'm not too sure why Eddie wasn't on. Is he carrying an injury? The refs don't give him any protection. He certainly played a lot of football between ourselves and France.
Yeah.
France under 21s. You know, you can see Griff coming in, but it's such an important season. It's everybody's got to earn their place, haven't they? There's no sentiment.
I think the big thing for me, there's always a bit of sentimentality when you're talking about Celtic, Lawrence, but the thing with me with Rogic and Griffiths was to get those two up to a standard somewhere around what they're capable of doing, then they're two guys who can contribute to the squad throughout the 5 tournaments that we're still in.
Definitely. I mean, there's sentimentality when you talk about Celtic, but I don't think when you're Neil Lennon picking a team, there's room for it.
No.
You know, I think he knows, you know, it's 10 in a row. It's maybe our 4th and 5th treble we're going for. There's a lot of pressure on this team. They're probably the only team in Scotland that's playing under this level of pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody expects Rangers to do anything.
No.
They're playing almost pressure free. They don't get any hassle from the press. They're almost pressure free from them. Celtic have had this for the past 6 years, unrelenting pressure on these players, where you're expected to win everything. And if they don't, you've not done a treble. you know, which was really the look at the deal going, you didn't do a treble when Lenny was first time round. He doesn't do enough in cups. You know, it's a level of pressure that no other club in Scotland's having to live with. It's a huge
level of pressure. We are going for treble number 4 and 5 in a row. We're going for 10 in a row. And we're also expected, obviously, to perform in Europe as well, Lawrence. Speaking to James McDonough of Edinburgh City the other night, it was interesting when I asked him the question about bleeding in young players against winning every domestic honour. Looking at the League Cup, for example, where you might give people the opportunity. And he said exactly what you just said there just now. Neil Lennon will not want to be the manager remembered for breaking that domestic dominance.
Well, that's the pressure he lives under, isn't it?
Any
mistake,
is.
and any player that makes a mistake. And it's not just Lenny, it's any player that makes the mistake in any game. It's his fault we drop. You know what I mean? It's Celtic have got such a great win ratio. It's his fault we dropped the points. It's his fault we didn't win the cup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mentally, I can see why they've brought in a psychologist, because it's got to be wearing on the players to be carrying this for so long. And don't get me wrong, I think if we do 10 in a row and 5 trebles in a row, I don't think the pressure's going to change, because every fan's going to want 11 and 6 trebles in a row. You know, if we do 4 trebles then 5, we're going to want 6. We're going to want 11.
It does continues.
And it grows and it grows. But I suppose that's when you're making history, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
you're
part
absolutely
and parcel
right.
of it.
Yeah, I mean, the strength of character, and I do think we've got that strength when some of the guys we've mentioned already in terms of Callum McGregor and Scott Brown, Jamesy Forrest, who came on, as did his brother for Livingston this afternoon. These guys have been through this time and time again, and they've got the mettle, and it's about ensuring that the people who are coming in either have the passion or, you know, they're striving to be winners, to ensure that they know what it's all about. Because Celtic have to win in any game, every single game anyway. But when we're looking at the domestic dominance, Lawrence, you don't want to break that.
You look at Taylor coming in, for example. If he was to read the paper or listen to the phone-ins, he must think he's the worst left back in Scotland. But a wee guy never hides.
No.
He's got a goal, I think it's 4 assists this game. If that continues for the rest of the league, he'd be sitting on something like 7 goals for a season and 20 odd assists. You'd be going, phenomenal return. And for his ratio of assists and goals for a fullback or a left wing back, he's doing marvellous. If we pick up the paper and listen to a chat show, he's the worst guy in Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before the game around the comments about Sir Alex Ferguson coming in as the Celtic manager, and what we were talking about really is management and how Neil Lennon is managed and thereafter manages. Now, I think as a manager, Lennon will be looking at Taylor and he'll be quite happy with the contribution today and most weeks. When you look at the ball retention, for example, I don't have the stats, but passes completed, Taylor had, I would argue, more of the ball than any other Celtic player today.
I think so. He seems to. He doesn't always beat a man, but you don't always need. He's finding hoop jerseys. He
seems to do well with Christie. He links up well with Christie.
They were linking up well there, weren't they? And even with Ayer behind them, you saw a couple of times where Ayer had to come for the ball, and Taylor's making sure he's getting back round to sweep in case Ayer doesn't get it. Mm-hmm. You know, they're starting to grow an understanding, and it only comes with game time.
No, you're right.
It only comes with game time. Is Lenny going to be happy with Taylor? I think he's going to be over the moon.
He would be happy today.
What did it cost us $1 million?
Couple of million.
Yeah.
Couple of million.
I think he's going to be over the moon with Taylor's performance. He's dependable. He's solid. he's chipping in with goals and assists.
And
he's a left back.
He's always looking for the ball. You get a lot of players who do their bit.
There's a way to hide. You know, you cut the angle out. Oh, you couldn't see me. That guy. Well, it's your job to be seen. It's your job to make the angle, to make sure, or to make the extra yard. Or Taylor doesn't hide.
We seem kind of left heavy. We rely a lot down the left at the moment, don't we?
We're going a lot down the left. I don't know if that's because teams are a wee bit scared of Frimpong and they're showing us down the left. If they're happier to put us down the left, perhaps that's why. I don't know, but us as a team, we're certainly happy to give Taylor, and his teammates are happy to give him the ball.
Yeah.
So they're happy with his performance.
They're confident with him, yeah.
You know, they don't need to lay the ball to him. They can look for a different pass. But they're all happy to give it to him.
Well, Lawrence, we're sitting here top of the league. There's loads of comments coming through. We'll work through some of those. Unfortunately, this week, Lawrence, we don't have a musical accompaniment. We did last week with Danny Kelly. And we'll be working for match days, particularly after the game, on getting musicians in to play us a few tunes. So even if you are a musician yourself and you want to come into the studio and get involved, just get in touch with me. Also, if you haven't done so already, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Everything a Celtic State of Mind does is free of charge, and we'll continue to make it available on a daily basis, and we've got big plans for other products and more content as we move throughout this historic season. Now, Francie Dub LU, who gets involved in these broadcasts regularly via YouTube. No disrespect to Livy, but no way should he be scoring 2 at Celtic Park. Thought Turnbull should have been on earlier, and Klimala should have been paired with Ajeti, not replacing him. I do think we did call for the 2 strikers, take someone off maybe further back or one of the midfield players and play with 2 up the front. Ajeti might have been surprised that he came off when he did as well. I think it would have been good to get 90 minutes into Ajeti.
You could see he was tiring, but they left him on because it's those extra minutes that make you fitter, isn't it? It's it's the last bit, it's pushing yourself on that will get you the gains. So I think Francis it should have been Ajeti. I'm surprised Klimala and not Eddie, but yeah, it should definitely have been 2 strikers. I'd have team Brown off for Turnbull earlier, yeah. I can't disagree. Should they be getting 2 goals? Probably not, but that second one it's a cracking strike from the boy, isn't it? You've got to take your hats off. Brown sold himself, and Cham's already beat. They're playing 1-2s with ball. You're going, Scott. You just need to sit here or pedal back a couple. You're defending that edge of the box area now, and he sold himself. And I don't know if it's because it looked like Celtic had went into coasting mode a bit. It was 3-1. Livy haven't threatened all second half. If anything, we're going to score goals 4 and 5 at that stage. You're sitting looking, going, right, mate. Well, Lennon was going to make the 3 subs at the one time. Yeah. I think everybody thought this game's it's done and dusted. It's put to bed. Make 3 subs. The boy hits a cracking goal, doesn't he?
It's a cracker, and it's out of nothing, really. I mean, when you look at it, we are going to criticise and look for who to blame, but I mean, it's a great goal. In many ways, when we're talking about the Ferencváros goals, and you're looking at the first one, it's a cracking strike. We're looking at Barkas, could he have done better? But it's a cracking strike.
Oh, cracking strike. You'd be happy with that if you hit it.
And we won, and I can understand. I can understand why people are concerned, because it's 2 slim victories against 2 clubs who'll be in the nether regions of this league come the end of the season.
But I think we often start the season slow, and we really get into your stride after Christmas. The worrying thing just now is the season going to go that long? Is, we're often hitting our stride from Christmas, New Year onwards, and we're just powering, which is when you want to become elite strikers. That's when the prizes are getting handed out.
Yeah.
This season with a virus, who knows? I'd be more confident this season finished if we was going to be allowed to finish with playing rugby, because the Scottish Government doesn't have problems with them breaking rules and allowing games to go ahead.
Yeah.
But we're under a lot of pressure. I can see why people are going, no, this season might finish early, and it's goals, it's points per game ratio. Mm-hmm. We need to be winning, but it's top of the league. Let's enjoy it. There's signs in that team that the players are starting to work well together. Ajeti's just getting better with every game. Duffy let his standards slip. He didn't get his customary goal. It's a bit disappointing.
How many is he going to get this season? Come on, give me a prediction.
I'm going to say 16.
16 from centre half. I always remember Stevie Bruce was good for double figures from centre half, wasn't he?
Yep, aye. I'll say 16.
And interestingly enough, Celtic had the opportunity to sign Steve Bruce from Norwich. When we did our interview with Tom Grant, the former Celtic director, there was a deal to be done, and I think Celtic balked at the asking price of 850 grand. So he goes on to Man U and wins numerous titles, etc.
So Magic
with
Tom.
Man United, 850 grand.
Round about time to be a chance of McGrath as well.
Paul McGrath, some of the other players that Celtic could have signed. Peter Beardsley.
Yeah, he was super keen to come.
And that was when he went to Everton.
Yep.
So he was at the top of his game. He obviously made a career for Andy Cole later on at Newcastle. But you just reminded me there, Duffy, he's got it in his locker to get double figures. So's Julian. It's the one area of the game for me, for Ajer, that I don't think he's ever going to be that guy that's going to score a header from a corner. He got a chance today. It's one area of his game that I don't think he's got.
He's not brilliant in there. He's getting headers on targets. But I tell you what, he created that goal. Mm-hmm. He drew 4 players to him, just busting forward 10 yards, bang. Livy's all over the shop after that. It's to Ajeti. It's out to McGregor. He's at 3 or 4 yards and it's back in it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of... He's not brilliant yet in there. Maybe Duffy will take him for some training.
Duffy's
look, this is what
class.
You want to be doing. This is how you want to be attacking the ball. Because I remember McAvenny talking about this one time. Celtic centre halves were struggling, and Billy McNeil was manager, and he taken them back, and he was like, right, throw the ball in, and McNeil was just standing the 6-yard box, attacking everything and winning it, and going, this is what you do. And maybe that's all I needs is to maybe Duffy and Duff's going, look, this is how you attack the ball. This is how you need to run at it.
Listen, when it comes to a partnership as well, often that's exactly what you're looking at. So the deficiencies in one player are kind of shored up in the other player.
You can't have the same kind of players throughout the team. You need strengths, don't you? Everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses. You spoke about Big Billy there, God bless him. But I was pushing for us to bring in Henrik Larsson as the striker coach for that very reason. Yeah. Lead by example. And obviously somebody elsewhere thought it was a good idea. Yeah, Larsson would be good, but what's Big John Hartson up to? Him in the air. Jeez, can I just say, won everything. I asked John the question. He said he would walk to Celtic Park to do that job. Listen, he wins. Maybe he wasn't the best trainer when it wasn't mobile, but a ball up to it. They could put three players on him, and John Hartson's winning that in the air. Whether it's a knockdown, a flick on. The big man's looking in good shape now. He's lost a couple of stone. Aye, he likes his jerseys like me. He doesn't go with green though. He seems to go with his Hammers colours for it. He likes the purple. Aye, I would get. I'd get Big John in as a striker coach. Yeah, and what a career he had. Luton, Arsenal. What was it? Cup Winners' Cup or UEFA Cup when he was 18 or something. Cup Winners' Cup. I mean, see the thing with Big John, I've asked the question because obviously he's got the link to Lennon as well. But I don't know, Lennon seems to want to do his own thing in that respect. But he had that opportunity, and I did mention Larsson, and that was down to the fact, not just the first team, but we're not producing strikers, goal-scoring strikers at Celtic. Same argument could be said with goalkeepers and centre-halves in actual fact, if you look down at all the players that have come through. But I thought it would have been a good move, in this season of all season, it gives you the feel-good factor. But he's away with Koeman at Barca. Yeah, they brought a huge lift to the club, Henrik Larsson coming back. Because I don't think he's ever going to be a manager of any repute. But a guy of that calibre, of that stature, about the club, to coach the players. It brings a lift. When you talk to, like Danny, he's obviously had a big impact on what Frimpong's done. Mm-hmm. And Danny says he doesn't coach it, but he still goes up to training. Yeah. And he has a word with him. Whatever Danny's, can you learn from a better player? I know. And it's the same with Larsson. Could you learn from a better player? Exactly. But Danny's words of wisdom did not work with Amido Baldi. That's for sure. He certainly tried his best. He tried his best. Now, on the subject of Ajeti, Stephen, welcome back. It's good to see you, pal. And you're saying Ajeti, Gary Hooper, number 2, so alike. I would go a wee stage further than that and say that Ajeti's deeper playing, actually coming back to make some ham is actually better. I would say Ajeti's going to be miles better than Hooper. He's more of a complete player. Definitely. I think more of a complete player, and he can hit a higher level. You can see why he's went from big money. I'm not too sure what West Ham done with him when he got there. You're a bit going, and some Hammers fans I talked to are going, why didn't we get a chance to see him? Well, you look at that finish today, and Stephen goes on to say Ajeti already looking great value for money. Totally agree with that. I did say when we looked at the signings this
pre-season and going into the early part of the season, Lawrence, that we upped our game a bit. You know, the calibre of players we're bringing in, Ajeti at 5 million. I mean, that's a tremendous bit of business.
We needed a bit of freshness about the squad. We definitely need to bring in quality. I don't know what kind of wages they're coming in, but we still need to keep a structure. And Lenny's great at spotting a player and spotting a bargain. I think he's done it, certainly done it at Hibs. He done it when he was at ourselves first time around.
Some of the players they brought in,
he had no chance at Bolton. He totally picked the wrong club. But is there I'm trying to think of a manager that's better than Lenny at spotting players, bringing them on, developing them, selling them for money. He's got a cracking track record. You
look at the lineup against Barca in 2012, very much a Neil Lennon assembled side, and you look at the personnel there, and obviously that's been dismantled. But some of the buys in that side, Chris Commons, what was it, 300 grand?
Yep.
You know, I know he's not everybody's cup of tea now, but for value for money, Mikael Lustig, couple of million quid. You know, he went on.
Was Lustig a couple of million? Was he free?
And he went on to win 8 titles. You know.
Oh, Lustig outstanding. You know.
And it goes on and on and on. And some of even the less fancied players, because I know that the centre half pairing against Barcelona that night was Kelvin Wilson and Effie Ambrose, who made an appearance today. But they boys done a job for us.
Definitely. And Kelvin scored against Rangers today.
I can't remember if he did.
Sure,
I think they disappeared before he got the chance.
Yeah, I mean, from Forest.
The one
Big
player
Effie, I liked Effie, and I still do like Effie. He plays the game with a smile on his face.
What age is he? 23?
Yeah, not too sure. But
he played okay today, I've got to say.
He done he gave away a couple of free quick kicks. He could have been yellow carded for, and the ref.
But I was at the end of my tether. By the time he left, I was ready for him to leave, I've got to say.
I think as Celtic fans, it's easy to us to jump on the bandwagon as Scottish media starts pushing. They've definitely got an agenda when it comes to Celtic defenders or Celtic players. Forever they've had it. I can remember when Stuart Slater signed in, it was his first goal in 13 or 14 games, and they were criticising a winger for taking so long. Yeah. The Rangers had spent $4.5 million in Duncan Ferguson and hadn't had a goal in that number of games. But there was nothing in the press.
No.
You know, so I think we need to be careful that we don't jump. We're not the traditional media's agenda. We don't
become part of the narrative. No, you're right.
Look at Fergus McCann when he stopped at 10. The booing when he unveiled the flag. I think as a support, sometimes we've got to be a wee bit more switched on and give a bit more support to the players than
we do. No, you're right, and we do try that. The balance is you don't become a sycophant, and everything that we do is not always great. And if we play bad, we've got to speak about that as well.
No, there's a balance to be struck.
Yeah,
but let's be constructive and realise that not everybody's going to be Henrik Larsson or Virgil van Dijk, but it can still be successful for us.
Now, a wee point I'd like to make in relation to the tackle after 49 minutes, Sibbald above the knee on Christie. Should have been a sending off if you ask me. Was it any worse than the tackle on Morelos when he got a wee plaster on his knee?
It's way worse. It's way worse.
Going back to what you say, the narrative since that was it was the worst tackle we've ever seen in Scottish football.
I don't even think that was a free kick because the boy's clearing the ball. How does his leg not continue forward?
Well, we see
against he's clearing the ball. How does his leg not continue forward?
Well, we see Christie's challenge. Will we see that all week from every possible angle? Probably not.
No, it won't be mentioned. It won't. It's a sending off.
It was a shocking tackle.
Yeah,
it was shocking.
It's a sending off. I don't know what the boy's trying to do, what he thinks he's trying to do. He's completely lost it, and it's a red card.
Now, I'm not using this as an excuse. We won today, so you're always best to comment on the performances of the officials when you've won the game, so you can't be accused of sour grapes. So I thought they were dreadful today. I thought when you're looking at Douglas Ross on the touchline, he wouldn't even move out the way for Greg Taylor to take a throw in.
But he also didn't. He doesn't let Taylor steal yards, which is fine. It's got to be from here. A minute or two later, Livy's got a throw down there, and you can take it from where they want. And it's the contrast in penalty decisions. The second half, there's loads of wee decisions. Duffy, why it was a free kick in the box, when he's attacking the ball, who knows?
The boys' arms were all over him.
Ajeti, the boys all over him, but he still managed to keep the ball, a free kick against Klamala.
I know.
The angle Klamala's getting in it, his studs are never up. The Livy player's never in danger. He's never get it. The Livy player runs into Klamala's legs after Klamala's got the ball, and I fail to see where the foul is. If anything, it's a foul the other way.
Yeah.
The Livy players shouldn't be making contact there.
There was a genuine bemusement about Clamaller's expression when that was given. Let's have a look at some of the other points coming through. Thanks everybody for getting involved via Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. Kenny McAdam, welcome to the show, Kenny. Of course, 3 points are all important, but the way the team is being managed concerns me. That said, Ajeti looking sharp, looking forward to him and Eddie playing up together. Hopefully Lennon feels the same. I think he cannot fail to feel the same. I mean, when you see Ajeti today, the goal aside was superb. But the way he was coming deep to make things happen impressed me.
Definitely. A lot of that's down to Lenny. He's, the amount of game time he's given him, when he's not been right up to speed. So he's getting better and better with every game, I think. He's linking up well with everybody. The strength he's got to hold it. He's talented with his feet, with his close control. Yeah, Albion Ajeti's going to be a superstar for us, I think.
No, I think you're right. And now Kevin Graham, I've not hit full stride yet, when you're looking at the Celtic side.
He's still way short of being on the top of his game. You can see that. That's why he gets subbed. He's way short of being able to last 90 minutes.
Yep, that's an important performance for him this season in terms of his own fitness,
Yeah.
And he's done well. That goal was just brilliant. We'll be watching that
and
for
how
some years
good
to come.
Was it from Ryan when it wasn't about taking the shot? It was the touch.
You mentioned that.
Laid it.
It's one of the biggest criticisms of Ryan Christie, isn't it? He plays for himself. You hear a lot of people saying that and people commenting on the show all about Christie playing for himself, looking for that move. But when he plays that simple ball in, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference.
Aye. You only want to play the single ball there. He takes the touch and he's already knows he's playing a pass. He hasn't lifted his head to see if he can get a shot off. He's just kept it really simple. You're like... Bang.
Quality. Kevin Graham, we'll see you back in here on Monday, Kevin. Credit to Lennon for his subs. He allowed us to get control of the game again before bringing on Turnbull and El Yunusi. Turnbull movement looked good. It was difficult because he wasn't on a pitch long, but I was impressed with what I seen.
I like Turnbull. I think Kev's right. His movement was good. When him and Forrest get used to each other, because there was times they were just looking to be in the same space in the park, didn't know where the run was coming, where the other wanted the ball, but yeah, Turnbull he's a confident player, so he should be. He's played in this league for a number of seasons with Motherwell. Mm-hmm. He's got loads of minutes under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
He slotted in, he didn't look out of place. We played a lot of money for him, we would hope he didn't look out of place. But yeah, happy with what I've seen of him. Let's hope he gets more minutes soon. And he's a goal-scoring midfielder, so let's hope he starts scoring for us soon.
No, I think he will. It's all about just getting to know your teammates as well. There's a few occasions you pointed out where him and Forrest were probably in the same area of the pitch, and it's just about getting that understanding, Lawrence, and then I think he'll be flying. I think he'll be great value for money, Turnbull.
Definitely. Big season, let's hope it. That's the thing, with the change of cup, he could actually win 2 cup medals, 2 Scottish Cup medals, a League Cup and a league medal this season, in his first season with Celtic.
Now we do get a few Hibs. Fans coming in.
Yep.
Paul Cockwell's joining us today, so welcome in. And obviously there is a fairly important game tomorrow. How do you see that one going in against the 2 teams below Celtic in the league?
So Hibs haven't lost a goal from open play. I don't think the Rangers haven't lost a goal. It's going to be, is it nil each all over it, or it's a big game. Hibs are flying. Yeah, definitely talented. I'd expect. Yeah, I'm obviously hoping for a Hibs victory. I think Hibs have been great this season. And Rangers played in Gibraltar. Obviously not the toughest game for them, but I think Hibs will benefit from that. I think I can see Hibs winning by 1 or 2 goals.
Well, I think what I'll say, I won't commit to Hibs winning, but I certainly think they'll take something from the game, Lawrence. I've been a big fan of Jack Ross for ages. I've said that.
Yep.
People used to criticise me because they didn't think he was Celtic class, and he probably isn't at this moment in time, but I just see potential in Jack Ross to progress again. The move down to Sunderland was a brilliant move for him. Couldn't possibly turn it down. I think they were premature in getting rid of him. There's a wee bit of favouritism because obviously his assistant is John Potter, fellow High Valleyfield under 14 teammate of mine. So I love to see John doing well. I think him and Jack have got a good understanding, and I can see them getting something tomorrow. Might be a draw, as you say. I mean, they're both performing well defensively. and it will come down again. You've got the home advantage of Hibs, and I'll be watching that game with interest.
I think Hibs have got goals in them though. I don't know if Rangers will, they've been on a great run keeping clean sheets, and I think this is where it comes to an end. It's going to end somewhere. I think Hibs are the team that they're probably going to be the strongest in attack that they've faced this season.
Will poor wee Morelos get that wee plaster removed from his leg, do you think? For a wee scratch?
Will he get on the park? Will he get... what he is, he may even get to hit a penalty, but maybe just being paranoid at thinking that would be a good bet for tomorrow.
Well, I'm not a betting man, as you can see. I actually predicted that we would win 7-0 today. The only thing I got right was Celtic's first goal scorer from McGregor, who for me was by far and away the best man on the pitch. But there were other good performances, Lawrence. Not happy with the scoreline, I've got to say, at Celtic Park. If we had won 3-1, I think I'd have been a lot happier. It was just one of the goals, from absolutely nowhere. Cracking strike. But I'm looking ahead, I'm looking forward. I think we've got a strong squad. I want to see Griffiths coming back into that. And I still think we'll get one or two boys in as well. I
think week in week you can see that team growing together. You can see the players starting to link up better. Especially Ajeti. I just think once he can do 90 minutes, once he's fully fit, get him and Eddie on the park. It's going to be great. Duffy's he's settling that back line, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Charm's grown in it, and he's starting to turn in performances that we know we should be getting from him every week. I think you're right. I think we obviously know there's going to be a left back coming. Taylor came in as backup, didn't he? He's not let us down. He does well. As a young Scottish player, there's a lot of development left in him. I think we'll get somebody in, possibly on loan at left back if we don't buy someone.
Potentially,
the English clubs will be looking to trim their squad soon. COVID's going to be having an effect on everyone, no matter how much money you've got.
There'll be a deal to be done. We've seen Ben Davies has been quoted, Alfie Dottie's been quoted. There will be a deal to be done, and as you say, you can use the loan market to your advantage for a couple of bodies coming in. Will we see Griffiths, like Rogic, making an appearance on the bench? I still hope that we do. I still think that he can give you something.
Griffiths has got to play this season at some point.
I hope so.
But we can't have your Celtic career end like this, can we? He's a match winner. Griffiths plays, you get goals. So,
well, he was smiling during the week at training. He even joined one of our broadcasts during the week there, Lawrence, and he was welcome because we're all big fans. But, we win 3-2, we're top of the league, and we will join you all again on Monday for the bulletin at 12:30, and you can catch us up on YouTube if you've joined the broadcast late. It'll also be out as a podcast later on tonight. All that's left for me to say is keep joining us on these bulletins, because it's down to your contribution that makes them so interesting, particularly if I'm flying solo. Today, thankfully, I wasn't. I was here with Lawrence Connolly, so thank you very much again, Lawrence, for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind, sir.
Thanks for having me.